Week 19 of the 2024 RBL season is upon us. It's another episode of RBL Weekly. I am the Roast Battle League Commissioner, Pat Barker, joined as always by the host and creator of the Roast Battle, Brian Moses.
I'm sitting weird, I feel like. Sorry. Let me get into the right position, and we're good. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, nothing happened this weekend that's worth discussing at all.
At all.
Pretty slow news week.
Yeah, nothing really happened.
Yeah. Anyway, Roast Battle?
Roast Battle.
Let's do it. We have some great battles for you this week and some other battles. It was an interesting week. It was a weird one. The ranking committee hit me several times with the word weird. We're going to get to watch some of the weird ones in the studio. Some of the 7 through 5, as always, we do not watch here in the studio. And I got to tell you, I'm glad because there's a little bit of weirdness all around. 7, 6, 5 are also weird and long. These are all 6 to 8 minute videos, so strap in. There's a lot to unpack here, a lot going on, and we're not going to watch them. That's all you. So we'll start with the number 7 battle this week. This comes to us from the International West Division leader, Scotland. Scotland had a great first half to the season. They've struggled a little bit the last few weeks getting out of the gates. They pick up a number 7 battle this week. It's worth 1 point. And in very un-Scotland-like fashion, very professional, one of our most professional teams in the league, it starts in the middle of a joke. I don't know how much was cut out. I don't know how much we missed. It definitely, I think, impacted their score a little bit. But there's some really good shit in this battle. It's a lot of fun. Enjoy it. Number 7 this week, it's Alan J versus Dean T. Byrne. Here it is.
With a lot, I don't know what's got more X's, him or his clothes tags. Alan looks like the lead actor in a live-action Peter Griffin movie.
Growing up, Dean suffered from really poor self-image, but thanks to years of extensive therapy, he found out that he is actually just incredibly accurate. Dean often compares his look to Kurt Cobain, and I can kind of see it if he loaded his shotgun with an extra chromosome. However, when I look at Dean, all I think is that is definitely a man who refers to his cum as sex pee.
All right, Elton John, Wayne Gacy. Alan looks like he shops exclusively at Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Glad to see you got rescued from that river, by the way. Alan's gay and diabetic, so he only uses Maltesers as anal beads now. I do love you, really. Alan's got a foot fetish because he hasn't seen his own feet since 2009. And he's diabetic, so he better hurry up.
Me and Dean had a lot in common growing up. We both spent many years in the closet. I was secretly gay. He just liked to hide in it and watch his parents fuck. Dean is actually adopted. I was very shocked to learn that an orphanage would have a clearance section. Although, unlike the clearance section in a supermarket, this one was allowed to have a big out-of-date fruit in it.
Alan looks like the leader of an Alvin and the Chipmunks fan club. Alan's what you get if Hagrid got kicked out of Hogwarts for using love potions on the kids. Alan looks like he played the lead role in Lara Croft Fridge Raider. Alan's parents were drug addicts and are both dead. The only way he could raid tombs is when he visits his mummy. I got one.
Dean, you got another one?
Oh, go on.
Dean loves horror films. That's why he dresses like Beetlejuice fucked Chris Griffin. And much like Beetlejuice, you can often find him in a bathroom with screaming children. Growing up, Dean spoke almost exclusively in movie quotes. Sadly, the only DVD he had was American History X. Dean did once get into trouble because he came into school dressed as Harry Potter because he wrongly thought it was World Book Day, but he really got into shit when he went all out dressing up for Black Friday.
Alan had a goth phase in his teens. When he was young, he used to pretend that he was a vampire until his dad told him he didn't want to keep leaving the house with a hickey. Alan looks like he owns at least 3 Build-A-Bears. Alan, if you're here, who's kidnapping Woody and Buzz in Toy Story 2? Alan only learned to swim at age 29. Before then, he was just trying to avoid the harpoons.
Still saying nothing. After being adopted, Dean's family moved out to Dubai, though they had to sneak him through customs because you're not allowed to bring in pork. Dean had a lot of fun hobbies in Dubai, though. He was actually in a punk rock band that were named after him, Blink 182 Kilograms. He also got very into acting. He's voiced Spider-Man, he's played the Wizard of Oz on stage, and he's very excited for his next role, which is Harvey Price as the third white chick.
Good one, Macaulay Culkin. Alan's asshole is so wide, Thor can use it as a portal to Asgard. Alan swallows so much, he's known on Grindr as Cumpty Dumpty. I'll end with this one. Alan recently went abroad to Taiwan and was an utter shagger, so he's officially the only man to have blown more Asians than Oppenheimer.
Last one, so I'll just say it's very nice to do this with you, Dean. Dean's been very busy recently, you know, sending all those emails to Richard Gadd. But if you've enjoyed me and Dean, we actually have a horror film podcast with Kyle Samuel. You know, Dean likes to be theatric and dress up when we film it. Like when we did Scream, he came in his ghost face. When we did Texas Chainsaw, he came in his leather face. So as you can imagine, he's really excited for the Get Out episode. And I would just like to end on something that we both love, is we're both very big fans of Avril Lavigne. Our favourite song by her is Skater Boy. Do we know that? Right, you know, he was a skater boy. She said, see you later, boy. He wasn't good enough for her. That's a song about Dean by his biological mother. I'm done.
All right, so number 7 this week, Alan J. Dean T. Byrne. That comes to us from Scotland. As always, the ceiling is very, very high on Scotland battles. The floor is still pretty high. There's some swings and misses in there, but you can always count on a Scottish battle for at least 3 or 4 really big pops.
Continuing their dominance, Scotland. Keep it going, Scotland. Nobody else seems to be able to fuck with you, so I don't know what's happening in the IW, the International West, but you guys seem to be the only thing cooking out there, so continue with the haggis and the iron, bro.
Montreal's going to pick it up any day now. I can feel it. Yeah, that one's directly aimed at you. Our number 6 battle this week. Now, we have a couple of themes this week. One of them is going to be, last week we featured a lot of newer battlers, and that really stood out to me. This week we have a lot of people whose names are going to be appearing atop the leaderboards for total points. There's a lot of people that you've already seen a few times this season that are going to be recurring characters on this episode. That's one theme. The other theme, as we mentioned, is weirdness. This is a strange battle. It's the number 6 battle this week. It is the finals of the Denver Championship Tournament.
Really?
Now, these guys have killed it the entire way through. Jeff Stonick, Phil Corridor. Jeff Stonick named to the All-Star team as Denver's representative. They've both had a great season. They've both been great in this tournament. And the finals, I had really high hopes, and it's just kind of strange. And we're not going to watch it, but I'll fill you in on a little bit after the viewing audience at home takes a look. It's number 6 this week. Jeff Stonick, Phil Corridor from Denver. Here it is.
Is Phil Corridor here, or is it dark over there? Happy Juneteenth, everybody. If Phil would have been in charge of delivering the news that slavery had ended and thus Juneteenth celebrated, it would have been in August. You faggoty shadow.
Well, Jeff, you know I hate you. I'm glad you made it here. I know you're always busy promising your parents you're gonna pay them back. I mean, gosh, I like how you wear these. It looks like you work, but your hands are as soft as the baby's butts that you touch.
I volunteer my time at the hospital, and they're really short-staffed. Can you stand in frame? Okay. I'm just.
There's so many damn cameras.
All right, great. If you guys are wondering why Phil is so crusty, just if you've gotten close up to his face, you're like, what's going on? He was conceived between two couch cushions. That's why he has the vocal range of dust.
And I'm so laid back.
You guys are all sheep. Laid back.
I don't know. You probably get this a lot. You look like Charles Manson doing a decent Jeff Goldblum impression. You also...
He just started the joke.
You also look like Bob Seger if your night moves were, jerking off for the third time, checking your phone, see if your wife called you back.
Now, who knows who Bob Seger is?
Dude. Hell yeah.
So it just wasn't funny. Okay. All right. That's fine. This failed sobriety test, if it was a human, is Phil Corridor. Phil paid for a lot of abortions. It's kind of a well-known, hush-hush, not secret. He's paid for a lot of abortions, and recently, in his defense, he does ask if he should pull out. He just finishes before the sentence does.
I think you're just jealous that I can afford to pay for an abortion.
You're just jealous that I've got parents that can.
I am. Yeah, Jeff is actually married. He's in an open
I'm not
marriage.
married yet.
Oh, what a surprise. Well, weren't you used to be in an open marriage? Or?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, he did have a wife. You never saw her because she was always busier with the more attractive husbands. But Jeff was only jealous of the dick he was missing out on.
We're getting married in October, buddy. It was just we just haven't even gotten there yet. Okay. Keep it going for Beavis and Blackface, guys. Phil jerks off the videos of himself sped up.
It is my fantasy. Jeff is bisexual. In other words, he's a coward.
Go on.
Actually, you're only bisexual when the right drugs are available, like Adderall, poppers, jalapeno poppers.
Nice. That was good.
Yeah. Getting kind of fat.
Is that it?
I noticed.
You noticed.
I noticed you're getting a little chubby.
You noticed.
Last jokes.
I remember you were wearing that.
He's still going.
Sorry, no, I was just I was just reminiscing, like when you were dressing like a Hare Krishna guy, and you wore that robe. That was. Sorry. Go ahead.
Why do you hate me?
Well, look at you.
Speaking of noticed, it is my privilege. Speaking of noticed, Phil is, you guys don't know, but Phil is like the most like, he's got more attempted sexual assaults than anyone in human history. But you've never heard about it because his targets have never noticed him. He's just going for it, and then they're already walking away.
Well, I didn't get it. But, Jeff, you are, well, I heard you were quitting comedy. Mm-hmm. Not sure if you ever started, but I mean, Jeff is a great photographer. Just ignore the crooked frames. But no, he's a beautiful photographer, and I'm glad that you finally found a job that only requires you to lift a finger. That's your dream job.
You roast like you're like sitting on the panel of The View. You're so sassy.
Let's
get started again. One more time. Battle.
Not applicable right now, but
say something applicable.
I can't. But it's just like it's so hot out right now, and everybody's already wishing it was winter to be cold again. But I wish it was winter so you would cover up those arms. But see, it's not
Mostly covered. Is that your joke?
Well, yeah. Actually,
Men can't find the click because it's at the end of Phil's sentences. Okay, there it is. That's my joke. Let's move on. Keep it going for Ashy Ketchum. Just trying to think if I should come up with a new one on the spot or just, well, I was kind of thinking about, one of the first things I learned about Phil was that at like comedy parties, he was really known for just like dropping his pants and showing his dick. That was his big thing, right? He liked to open the pig pen. He liked to let the hog hang out, you know? And we all almost like Me Too'd him, and then we just imagined having to sit through that apology. And
okay.
So that was the number 6 battle this week. Jeff Stonick, Phil Corridor. We did not watch it. I will say this. Their styles, I felt like, did not gel very well. They're both very interesting characters. There was sort of like a disconnect. Jeff did a really good job of kind of like breaking down Phil's whole deal. In terms of he's a very slow speaker, very deliberate.
Nice.
This went to overtime. I don't think it needed to go to overtime. And then they sent it to a double overtime. It definitely didn't need to go to a double overtime. And then in double overtime, Phil did not have a joke. So they included in the video a fast-forwarded version of Phil just kind of like... There was literally text that was like, Phil couldn't come up with a joke. We're not going to show you the full 90 seconds of him trying to think of one. Here are some highlights. And it was just him being like,
That's so mean.
Yeah, right?
That's so mean.
Now, we have an unwritten rule on the podcast. We want to see the battle for better or worse. I don't want any cities like editing their battles. I think that that's unprofessional and, could lead to some real problems. He probably didn't need to include that double overtime.
It becomes a circus act. I know that a lot of battlers like to see, go till burnout. That's you're a gladiator.
Yeah.
I think less is always more. Just as a person who's looking at the objective view, like you're like, this is about the show, right? So as a viewing audience, you're like, well, that didn't need that. There needed to be some editing there. So just as a producer, just less is always more.
Yeah.
Let the judges, play it out. they did their job.
Well, let's turn it back on the judges for a second, because, that's a weird gray area when I'm like, you shouldn't edit your battles. And then I say, but in this case, no, let's stick with don't edit your battles at all. I respect what you did, not making us sit through 90 seconds of Phil not being able to come up with a joke. The judges on hand, and I've seen a million roast battles live. I've judged a million roast battles live. I've gotten to the point now where I would rather, if I'm not sure, very rarely do I call for overtime anymore.
Good job.
I would rather at this point just make a wrong decision than make a wrong decision picking one way or the other than make a wrong decision in calling for an overtime that's undeserved and drags down kind of the quality of the battle. I'll say this. I don't know how it played in the room. Watching it live, it was very clear, especially after the first overtime. Jeff Stonick clearly won. To push it to double OT, and they didn't include the judging, but I would imagine it's like, oh, well, I don't want to vote against anybody. It's a, finals tournament. I get it. You got to make a decision. Otherwise, you force Phil into a weird position where, and he could have, maybe he should have written 7 jokes. Maybe he should have been more prepared. But I feel like he was kind of forced into that spot.
I'll say this about Denver. They have this reputation about them. They love to just murder autistic black men. I don't know why you guys pushed him to that, It's like when I hear that, like, oh, he should have just complied. He should have just done 5 to 7 jokes. Yeah, no. Or they could have just made a better situation for Phil by just not having him do extra jokes. One less joke. And then Phil wouldn't have been embarrassed like that. And Jeff Stonick still would have won and been the all-star and the champion that he is right now.
I love these moments where I'm trying to do the Sports Center thing, and you remind me we're still a comedy podcast. I appreciate that. Keeping me on track. I'm over here trying to break this shit down legitimately, and you're like, what if I threw a murdering an autistic black man?
Not the first time I've said this. The podcast, you've got me on receipts. I've said this before about Denver. They've been in the news about this, but just in roast battle general, they love to just crush my man Phil Corridor.
They love to send shit to overtime. That's like a big thing with them. I've noticed a lot of unnecessary overtimes in Denver. But
unnecessary overtimes. The RBL Denver story.
Yeah. Man, you fucked me up with that reference. That was a sad story.
Imagine Phil Corridor.
Yeah. In a way, the Phil Corridor thing is even sadder than the original that you're referring to. In a way. We'll edit all this out. Let's keep it moving now with the number 5 battle this week. We're going to go to Barcelona. We talk about there are guys that have been on this podcast a bunch of times. One of them is James Regal, recently named. I'm full steam ahead. We're leaving that thing in the past. James Regal recently named a 2024 RBL All-Star, his second consecutive All-Star selection, one of our international All-Stars. And this is his 4th appearance on the podcast this season. For Barcelona, he is almost single-handedly responsible for the majority of their points. So he's had a really, really good year, and this is going up against somebody who we have not seen on an RBL stage before, making his Roast Battle League debut. His name is Jordan Thomas Gray. It's Jordan Thomas Gray versus James Regal. It's number 5 this week. Here it is.
James was born on Epstein's Island, Great Britain. James's grandparents were Jewish and Polish. Can you imagine fleeing the Holocaust just so your grandson could end up British?
Nice.
Yeah, I'm the worst kind of Jew, British one. Okay, this animated nutcracker is Jordan Thomas Gray. Jordan looks like an extra in a musical about Nazi Germany. He looks like can't go within 500 meters of High School the Musical. I think Jordan looks and sounds a bit like a white supremacist podcaster. He's actually he's named Jordan because he makes black people jump.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Thank you, kind sir. July 4th is a tough holiday for James. It reminds him of when his ex-wife declared independence from him. But the only colonization James has ever done is spreading chlamydia.
Yep, it hurts because it's true. Jordan has face blindness, which means he struggles to recognize people, which is fine because after 8 years of doing comedy, no one recognizes him either. One upside of growing up with face blindness is it's much easier to pretend it's not incest.
Wow.
James has 2 younger half-brothers, which in the UK equals 1 full count of incest. James is 41, his girlfriend is 19. They're thinking of having a kid. James is hoping for a girl, so that in 19 years he can have a replacement girlfriend.
I mean, we can wait 17 years, you know, who's counting? Jordan isn't gay. What a wonderful representation of the state of our nation. Jordan isn't gay. He's gay passing. He left North Carolina to live in Boston. He left Boston to live in New York. He left New York to live in Warsaw. He left Warsaw to live in Barcelona. I think the only place he hasn't left is the closet. His mom is an evangelical Christian, so his kind of inherent gayness was a bit of a concern. She tried really hard to pray the gay away, and it worked because he moved to Warsaw.
Yeah, I'd fuck Jesus. James is Jewish, but he's not a practicing Jew, just like he doesn't practice his stand-up. But James is handsome, charismatic. He's a man who has it all, except foreskin.
I mean, it's better that way. Fuck you. Jordan looks like someone created a video game character with the head size slider down to 0. He has an abnormally small head. It's a wonder he has any space to contain all that incredible comedic genius. In fact, no, but he was a big baby. He was a 10-pound baby. That was the last time anyone called Jordan a 10. But he obviously works out a lot. He does work out a lot, but a bit embarrassing. I think he skips head day.
You know, James. You know, James, noses keep growing as you get older, so you're fucked. James played football at an all-boys private school. His position was center back. Center back is also his favorite place for his teammates to come on him. All right.
It's actually my face, but never mind. Who's counting? Jordan's dad left before he was born and refused to pay child support. Man, your dad treated you how an American spells the word color. He ignored you. Thank you. Jordan's dad was a doctor that didn't believe in COVID. I'll give you one guess how he died. His dad didn't believe in COVID. The only time he ever socially distanced from anyone was from Jordan his entire life. He refused the vaccine because he didn't want 5G in his body, just in case Jordan tried to phone him.
James got divorced during COVID, so his ex-wife took social distancing very seriously. A 41-year-old man with a 19-year-old girlfriend, and he's Jewish. He's the diddler on the roof.
So that was number 5 this week from Barcelona, James Regal, Jordan Thomas Gray. Do you have any references to horrific murders in Spain that you would like to get out?
I'll just say this. A lot of assassins have 3 names, right? Lee Harvey Oswald. Is that James? I'm sorry. Is it Earl? Wait, what's his name?
James Earl Jones.
No. It's,
Earl Thomas Ray.
No. It's damn it. It's James Earl Ray.
James Earl Ray. Yes.
Yeah. James Earl Ray. Go. And then who's the new guy?
Crooks.
Yeah, Thomas Woods Crooks or Thomas Crooks Woods.
Thomas Matthews Crooks. First time in 100 episodes, our producer weighs in with anything. He's just like, I know the guy who tried to shoot Trump. Yeah.
Def, can you look that up? Just like Jamie on Rogan.
Well, just like Thomas Matthews Crooks, Jordan Thomas Gray missed his shot at James Regal. James Regal taking away the W there, moving to 4-1 on the season. He grazed him with a couple. He got him in the ear with a couple of those jokes, but that was that was about it. What is this podcast?
Ooh, the commish!
Let's watch some battles here in the studio. Let's keep it moving. We go to number 4, and this is a guy that, boy, have we seen a lot of Dakota Fry this season.
Wow.
This is crazy. So Dakota Fry, this is his 5th appearance this season on RBL Weekly, tying Max Sorich and John Luna for the most in the entire league. This cartoon character of a roast battler has gotten really fucking good this season. Not to the point where he, winning record or any of that, but his battles are always fun. They're always entertaining. And he's going up against somebody that we have not seen this season. Her name is Britt Beer. One of the people on the ranking committee, Paige Wesley, wanted me to shout out Britt Beer for her fashion sense. She said the fit is fierce. She's a big fan, Britt. But this is our first time seeing her battle. So let's check out the fashion sense. Let's check out the battle. Let's check it all out. It's number 4 this week. Here it is.
All right, y'all. I love Dakota. Dakota does a lot of roasts. Okay, so we all know his teeth are messed up. He's Jewish. He's bi. His mom is dying. So everything's been said about him. But I think something he hasn't heard is, I'm proud of you, son.
Oh man, as you can see, Britt's wearing a gold Palestine scarf. Yeah. It's great. Now don't clap for her. The only reason she's not wearing the black and white one is because she doesn't believe those colors should mix. She doesn't love Palestinians, she just really fucking hates Jews. Every morning she calls her congressman like, yeah, hi, I'd like to speak to the manager of the Jews.
Manager.
Palestine. All right.
Cheat code in the Bay Area.
I love Dakota too, because he was one of the first people to speak out in support of people of Palestine. He also, too, didn't let people know about his Jewish heritage until he was in his 20s, which is good, because, right, whenever Jewish people wait to claim their birthright, that's always a good thing. Let's see here. Currently Dakota is ranked 5th in the Roast Battle League, and we're about to knock him to the 7th of October.
Oh, there it is.
God
Took a
damn,
while.
Lady Gaza.
Lady Gaza. This is great.
We're like Lady Gaga-gonorrhea. Brit flunked out of Chico State. She majored in saxophone. Now the only sax she blows is attached to the Booker's hairy balls.
Thank you, Diddler on the Roof. You look like Humpty Dumpty fell and got addicted to opioids. I can't wait for Dakota to finish talking so I can just finally get my Coke.
No Coke for you.
Never again is what is all his ex said.
You don't need any fucking Coke, fucking yeast Witherspoon. Brit looks like the cool and lame teacher. Like, she fucks the students, but she assigns them homework about a clit. Her last name's Beer, because like a lot of high school boys get in trouble when their parents smell her on their breath.
Alright, speaking of breath. Dakota's teeth, if you haven't noticed, are pretty messed up. He never got braces, but maybe that's a good thing, because he's bi, so whenever he went down on people, he doesn't support the Iron Dome.
Alright, fucking Drew Very whore. No, Brit's actually a great friend. Me and Brit are great friends. She even got me a job as a production assistant on a Warner Brothers movie. And I'm a great friend too, because whenever one of my friends wants to fuck Brit, I warn her brother that she's got crabs.
A spin on a classic.
Yeah, I feel like I first heard that Warner Brother joke on a T-shirt that they sold at the Ocean City Boardwalk when I growing up in New Jersey.
I hate to tell you this.
Yeah.
I have that T-shirt. And I got it from Boone.
If you see the cops coming, Warner Brother.
It literally says WB. If you see a cops, Warner Brother.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's the greatest dad joke to like grandpas ever.
It's really good.
It's not really.
No, whoever originally came up with that, it's really good.
Yeah,
you can't
no.
be using it in a roast battle in 2024. That's insane.
Original material only, but
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I haven't heard that joke since 1989.
But whoever originally came up with that, that's a great joke. I will not hear anything to the contrary.
Yeah, you're right.
Interesting battle, fun. It was great to watch Brit try to make really intelligent political jokes that she was kind of like stumbling over and uncertain of. And then Dakota would just be like yeast Witherspoon and fucking blow the roof off. Like, I respect what Brit was going for, but Dakota was definitely more effective in implementing his strategy.
Less is more. I guess
Yeah.
that's the theme again. It took her a long time it was like a long walk to get to those punchlines.
Yeah.
You know, they were great punchlines when she got there, but
Yeah.
it was like, oh, I could have just went that way.
And yeah, exactly. She took the scenic route on a lot of them, and so many cards. I think they do 4 jokes each in the Bay, which is one of the shorter battles that we have on the podcast. And she had like 20 cards. Like she'd do the setup and then move. How big of like a font are you using to where you can't fit like a setup, a punchline, and a tag on the same card?
Yeah, tag, edit.
Yeah,
Best punchline wins.
yeah. But I mean, look, I don't want to discourage people from attempting really intelligent, long. As somebody who writes longer jokes himself and is very ambitious in his joke writing, I respect that. And it's harder to pull off, but I think we've seen it pulled off really, really well. And to me, that will always, when it's done effectively, beat just like little quick, like quippy kind of shit. It just wasn't. She didn't have the material down this time. For me, the editing for sure, but also like the memorization. Like,
Correct.
just run him at home 50 times.
Yeah, if you're going to Bill Cosby it, right, which is like doing a story where it's very long and drawn out, but then the punch really, really savors the moment of just like, oh, that was a long walk, but thank God we got to it and we're all better that we're here now, then you really have to really just like lock in for that.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. You just got to practice. That's all. But like, I like the writing for Dakota. His 5th appearance on the podcast already this season. He's really fighting to the death for the Bay to try to catch LA in this thing.
I mean, he is their MVP. It's kind of weird. He doesn't win a lot, but he's kind of Keith Carey-ish with like he's just the best battler. Just anytime you put him in, he's gonna get you points or he's gonna get himself points.
3-5 this season. If the season ended today and you had a Bay Area MVP vote, you got Dakota Fry 3-5 has now put up 20 RBL points.
Damn.
You got Deeptanshu Jha 3-0 won the California Cup 6 RBL points.
Yeah.
Who would your vote go to for the Bay?
Deep.
Okay.
I mean Deep because Deep would beat him 1-on-1.
So that's like a tiebreaker for you.
And I think Deep would beat him handily. I mean, I know that winning and losing is arbitrary, but I think just the performance of it all, just Deep would kind of dissect him as a way an Indian doctor would.
Yeah.
You know, like it would be doctor versus doctor. You got a Jewish guy and an Indian guy.
True.
Right.
True.
But yeah, just I think Dakota would be formidable. But something about Deep is just he's got it.
Yeah.
He's got it right now.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? If this comes down to like October, this might be a time to hit up Josh Means and be like, yo, put them in the ring, make our job a little bit easier. Just give us a definitive winner. That way we don't have to, because they're 2 very different cases that we're evaluating for the argument for them, But either way, whether he's number 1, number 2, wherever you have him on your MVP list, Dakota Fry has had a hell of a season so far. So great job to him. Congrats to the Bay, picking up 4 more points.
Shout out Josh Means in the suit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We didn't even talk about that. Yeah, we got rid of the intro. I've never seen Josh Means look good before. That was that was weird. That was a new experience. You should do that more often. I think it's a good look for him.
It's a great look for him.
Yeah. And as a Flyers fan, the all black and orange was working for me as well.
Oh, you just call him gritty?
Yeah.
Wow.
The gritty of RBL Bay Area. Number 4 this week, the Bay Area picking up 4 points. Now, let's keep it moving this week and go to number 3, and this is Chicago. They keep throwing these fucking haymakers as they attempt to catch New York. They pick up 5 more points this week. Will it be enough, or will we see New York later in the episode? We will find out. But for now, these are actually 2 brand new faces from Chicago in terms of the podcast. The first ever podcast appearance for both of these people. For one of them, I believe it's her first ever battle. Her name is Sasha Rosser, and she's going up against David Donick. It's number 3 this week from Chicago. Here it is. Shout out to Stephanie Robertson, unsung hero on the Chicago scene, hosting this thing. She's been great this year.
Okay. Sasha, David, who's going first?
Oh, ladies first.
All right.
Ready?
I should have cut all this.
That's good. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sasha. She's awesome. Sasha is a queer, Jewish, pregnant, autistic comedian. And with that, a Republican just won the liberal bingo.
You're welcome. Do I do a joke now? Is that how this works? That was it? Okay. Yeah, well, give it up for Mr. Jersey Shore Hitler Youth Edition, everyone.
There you go.
Yeah. What an honor to be roasting Eminem's secret gay son.
Dude, Weird Al Skankovich is killing it right now.
Yeah. I always thought I looked like more, Howard Stern, but I'll take it. No, David, I think you're the only person I know who looks like you would shoot up a school and get a pedicure in the same afternoon. I love that about you.
Fun fact about Sasha. Sasha recently went to Japan, which is very cool. She went to study the ancient art of queer fu. just telling everyone you're gay anywhere you go. But ever since she's come back, she won't stop calling herself a Jap, Jewish, autistic, and pregnant.
I can't say where the pussy at in Japanese. Neko-sama, doko desu ka? Anyways, yeah. Hit me up after the show. So, when you do a roast battle, this is one of my first ones, so I hope you'll excuse me. You're supposed to research your opponent and like learn stuff about them, but fuck this guy, I don't give a shit. I've seen his face, I was like, that's plenty to work with. Okay. You know, this is like Draco Malfoy fucked a cockatiel.
Bro, you look like Judge Judy fucked an IPA.
All right, Justin Bieber, settle down. You're not writing a manifesto. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think I've ever met somebody who looked more like their name was Kyle. And honestly, Kyle, you remind me of a guy I used to fuck in the ass. Sorry, you remind me of a girl I used to fuck in the ass. Yeah, honestly, I feel like you would get a lot more sex if you were a gay woman. But it does not compare to the amount of sex you would get if you were a gay man. Because I'm surprised you're not being molested by Kevin Spacey right now.
I'm out of breath from that.
That was my closer.
Sasha is pregnant. This is true. I do, and we're friends. I believe she will be a good mom because I know she's gonna feed her kid with the open wide for the train choo-choo method. But she's so autistic, the baby's never gonna get fed because she's just infatuated with the train.
Chugga chugga.
Her baby's first words are gonna be all aboard.
Oh man. Well, you know what? I don't know if I have anything else to say about salmon Bermuda shorts that have a hard fade, but I do like that about you. It's beautiful. I'm roasting roofies if it had a face, you know? But don't worry, ladies. You know, Kyle burnt his dick off years ago in Charlottesville with a tiki torch.
Dude. Whoa. Dude, Sasha is so Jewish, her bangs just hide a tunnel that connects her temples together. Bro, she was the only gifted kid in special ed classes.
It's true. That's where I keep all the foreskins.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, I'm uncircumcised. Relax.
Yeah, that was it. You guys give it up for that.
Okay.
Can I do one more?
If you got one more.
You got one more. I got one more. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's see here. What do I end on? I guess, you know, Kyle, sorry, David.
Buddy, guy, pal, Trans Am trucker, go off.
I'm the Trans Am here. No. I feel like you have all the masculinity of like an organic bag of cauliflower, and you compensate for that by skinning cats with a switchblade. You got the brains and the appearance of a goldfish, and I sincerely believe that you will misspell the N-word in your suicide note.
I would, because I'm an ally.
Nice. Own that shit.
Sasha is pregnant. Before she did, it's gross, I know.
I'll give birth right now.
Before she decided to keep this, she did have 2 abortions. She's only keeping this one because it owes her 10 cents, so. That's all.
All right. Chicago and the Bay Area tied in points this week. I went through 3 different, this is the first time I ever did this. I went through 3 different tiebreakers and they were tied on all of them. It came down to a 4th tiebreaker before Chicago edged out the Bay Area for the number 3 spot. Watching it back now, I think the Bay might have gotten robbed of that one. The Chicago, it's so funny, man. Sometimes being here in the studio and having like your reactions on camera really crystallizes it, where you're just like, a lot of that was not connecting for me.
No, I mean, just aesthetically, that looks like a great battle, right? It does look like who was Doug Funny into and Doug?
Patty Mayonnaise.
Yeah, it looked like Patty Mayonnaise versus Roger.
Yeah.
It did look like that, or it looked like Gen Z World War II. It looked like an SS soldier versus like a Gen Z Jewish girl.
Yeah. I mean, it had its moments for sure. They were having
Doonesbury
fun up
versus
there,
Kathy.
which is cool. Who versus Kathy?
Doonesbury versus Kathy. For talking comic strip wars.
Yeah, for all the 60s heads out there.
Yeah, newspapers.
Yeah, exactly. Ever heard of them? Probably not. They used to print comics on paper, and you would go pay 50 cents to read them, and they were not very good, but we all pretended they were. It was a weird time to be alive.
Family Circus.
Yeah.
The Boondocks came from a comic
Peanuts.
strip. The Peanuts, exactly.
Come on,
yeah,
bro.
Charlie Brown.
The goat. The goat of comic strips.
Wizard of Id, yeah. Anytime
we're breaking down comic strips from 50 years ago as opposed to talking about the battle, that's not a great sign.
It's not, dude.
I'm going to be totally honest. Look, it had its moments. It was fun. They had a good chemistry up there. It was entertaining, but like the jokes were they were just not totally connecting. I'll say this as the parent of an autistic child, and it has nothing to do with that. I love autism jokes. I think they're great. I think we should be laughing about everything. I'm total as a judge. I'm on camera many times making jokes about how autistic various battlers are. Number one, it's here comes the plane. It's not here comes the train when you're feeding your kid. So it's a logical fallacy. Number two,
he's Jewish, or she's Jewish though. I think he's doing maybe it's a double entendre.
Okay.
Maybe there's layers to it.
All right, I'll let that one pass then.
Okay.
I will say in general, because we talk about this all the time, like concepts and jokes and types of jokes and everything that have to be retired. The autism trains thing has been done to death now. There's so many more. Trust me, as somebody who has one of these at home, that I can observe.
A train set, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's so much more fucking goofy shit about them than just that they like trains.
Yeah, or trains. I mean, you guys can even take it to old school and talk about, trains or like the sexual thing, whatever.
Yeah, just my feedback. As somebody who's seen a million roast battles, watched a million autistic battlers, the train thing is. Is
that on the list now?
I think I got to add it to the list. At the end of the year, we're gonna have an official list.
Yeah, like the pedophile. You look like the pedophile and the person you're molesting, right? That's got to go on the list with trains and autistic people now.
Yeah.
It's been done to death.
Yeah, so no more. We're calling a moratorium on train jokes going forward for autistic people. For Jewish people, it's still on the table.
Dude, you're on a roll today. We're not going to get monetized.
I had my Adderall this morning. Let's keep it moving with the number 2 battle this week. And this features 2 of the best. These guys are, 2 of the best that we have in the sport. Future RBL Hall of Famers. This is a title match from New York City. I don't know why I said New York City in that way. I emphasized it weird. A title match from New York. It is John Ajota. It is Malia Simon. Ajota, the reigning champ. Number 3 in the world last year. Number 3 at the Netflix Festival this year. Bronze Ajota, as I call him. But he is defending the title in a 3-round battle against your preseason, one of your sleeper MVP picks. She's been having a great year, Malia Simon. She was just on the countdown last week here in LA battling Kiki Anderson. Now she gets a title match. This is an old school 3-rounder, and there is a lot to pick apart from this battle, so I'm not going to waste any more time. We're going to jump right into it now. It's number 2 this week. Here it is.
First of all, Dan ran those jokes by me in the green room, and I said, fucking go for it. But my bad, buddy. Miscalculation. Anyway, give it a... Malia looks like a medieval king's least tradable daughter. Two goats tops, okay? Your hand in marriage will not bring peace to the kingdom. You 2-goat value bitch.
Love it.
John, I'm glad you could take a break from practicing facial expressions to be here. Why do you seem like you had to train yourself to blink?
Get ready for this.
You're glad I could take a break from practicing facial expressions. Interesting. Real quick, could I get a volunteer from the audience real quick? Anybody? Sorry, you don't have to stay, but would you mind doing me a favor? Would you read this for me out loud? Thank you. Here, you can have it.
Wow.
This is just the N word over and over again. Okay. Dear Malia, I'm so sorry. If you are here, who is doing blank is a tired and worn out roast battle trope. It is a cliche framework that has been done to death 1,000 times. Your hope that this audience is simply unfamiliar with roast shows, so you can rely on their ignorance to coast on. By paint by numbers comedy is lazy at best, and there's so much more, and disrespectful to the paying audience at worst. Your jokes often feel like recycled cliches and worn out stereotypes. It's disheartening to see someone with a platform as influential as yours to resort to such tired tropes, especially in an industry that is crying out for innovative voices. Moreover, I'm so sorry, please don't kill me. Your position as a woman in comedy is troubling. As a female comedian, you have a unique opportunity to reshape the narrative and offer nuanced, empowering representations of women. Comedy can be a powerful tool for social change, but it requires courage and creativity to move beyond the easy laugh and tackle more substantive material. Last paragraph. I believe you have the talent and potential to be a voice for change in the comedy world. I hope you will consider exploring deeper themes, embracing originality, and using your platform to challenge stereotypes rather than reinforcing them. Women deserve better representation in comedy, and you have the power to contribute to that positive shift. Do better.
That's a rebuttal?
You know what, sir? I couldn't have said it better myself.
All right. As you can see, John has a different way of doing his jokes. Much better than mine. In stand-up, we call that alternative comedy. And by alternative, we mean alternative to having sex.
No, sorry guys. My sex robot self-actualized, so I gotta reboot her. I like to make him look kind of sad. Makes it feel more real. But listen, gang, I gotta be honest with you, I'm a little pissed off because I found out some drama recently that Malia has been going around booking herself on comedy shows using the credit that she is the reigning New York City stand-up roast battle champion. And at first I was pissed that she did that, but then I realized she's also Jewish, so claiming something that doesn't belong to her is just part of her culture.
All right, we're now in the stereotypes section of the show.
Look at the numbers.
John's got this cool thing going on where he's like kind of a douchebag, but also a nerdy Indian guy. It's true. So when he says he's cheating on an assignment, he just means his wife. Well, it's good to know what happens when you give your Uber driver a 1-star review. John is dark and brooding, which counts as a personality, I guess. You seem like you're still plotting revenge for a joke a coworker made about your haircut. John, if you're here, who's trapping people at a party into a conversation about stoicism? John is a stand-up comedian, a writer, a roast battler, or as his Indian parents call it, not a doctor. But he's had a lot of success so far. He's been featured in the Netflix's A Joke Festival, or as his parents call it, still not a doctor. Thanks to you.
Oh my goodness, wow. Okay, so Malia went to Columbia. She's got an Ivy League education and a poison ivy vagina. That's why your dog's tongue has
That's
been
some
itchy lately.
highbrow shit, dude.
Don't get passionate about the art form now, dude. All of a sudden, she's Mrs. Charisma.
It's
Yeah,
chippy.
she's got a poison ivy. Imagine, Malia looks like the only girl that fucks her professor and then her grade goes down. Imagine having C- pussy. I'd kill myself. Oh, and by the way, let me just get this out of the way real quick before any of you say anything. We've had female roast battle champions in the past, okay? So the only thing, if she's not breaking any glass ceilings, but if she did, she'd just have her, like, servants sweep it up for her. Like, Malia and I, we honestly don't get along very well at all. We're like Israel and Palestine. Okay? Yeah. So I'm Israel, I'm Palestine, obviously, because I'm brown and hot-headed, and she's Israel. Because she doesn't deserve to exist.
Damn!
Jesus Christ, dude. This battle's so intense.
Malia looks like her vibrator is powered by a diesel engine. She's got to turn it on by going.
All right, let's make this quick. I know John has to get back to reading a biography of some dictator. You seem like you got Post-it sticking out of Mein Kampf.
It seemed like whatever I put in your drink is starting to work.
Christ.
All I gotta do is wait it out.
I don't understand you guys.
It's still my turn. Malia, look. I am Indian.
My bad. I know you hate when a woman speaks.
When a woman's speaking out of, I just. Doesn't Malia look like that girl in your high school that takes a trip to the Caribbean and comes back with cornrows? That's a haircut for black people. All right.
Hey, John, he's not asking you, but John dates white women. To be fair, they're all white after the life leaves their body. But...
Fantastic joke.
Yes. Glad my date's on stage tonight. Listen, you rat-faced mall kiosk perfume salesman. Malia, okay, first of all, let's be clear. Malia's Jewish, but the Jews do not control the media. She does not control the media, all right? She controls a chef in France by pulling on his hair.
You seem like you call sex breeding. That's the joke.
Whoa, look out, Comedy World, it's sarcastic white girl. Whoa! What a unique and refreshing take to have. I hope she says something monotone and biting. No, I do feel bad for Malia, though. Poor Malia. Not pretty enough to be an actress, not ugly enough to actually be good at comedy.
Wow. My God, dude.
John is half Italian, if you're wondering where the unearned confidence comes from. Why do you seem like you go, you're playing chess, I'm playing checkers? After each bartender rejects you.
You said that backwards, but whatever.
I did.
In my personality, I would say chess, but it's okay. You only had like 2 weeks to prepare for this. Malia reminds me of the Little Mermaid after she lost her job to the black one. But she still needs to pretend to be happy about it because she's a virtue signaling liberal. You know? She's on Twitter going, "Yes, queen." While meanwhile, she's like shaving her head during a Manic episode.
All right, John. I would call you an incel, but I know you got that haircut on purpose. So, no, John has a girlfriend. Actually, they're well suited for each other. You know, they're both artists. So, you know, John has no money or job, and she has no respect for herself.
Damn.
Well, that's my last joke, guys.
There it is. The number 2 battle this week. The number 1 all-time most awkward, uncomfortable battle I think we've ever had on this podcast. This was like when I went to see like Uncut Gems, and afterwards people were like, "Was it good?" I'm like, "I don't know." I just couldn't stop watching it. It was really, really uncomfortable the entire way around. I love both of these guys. I love John's entire persona, which I think is rooted heavily in reality. You know, did he overdo it at times there? Perhaps. I love Malia's joke writing. It's obvious to me she was shook towards the end. I've never seen her, I feel like, sort of off her game like that. There's just so much to unpack here. And the reason I know that beyond my own just instinct is because when Nico White, the host, gets back up on stage, before he can go to the judges, there's 30 seconds of the crowd not shutting up. They're all talking to each other because everybody is like, what the fuck did we just watch? What was that? There's so much to dig into here. I don't know. Start wherever you want.
By the way, I apologize. I thought that was Talent Harris, not Nico White. That was incredibly racist of me, and I get it now. Everybody, when you say you can't tell them apart, just black roast battle host.
Talent's not a host; he's a battler.
He's never hosted.
No, not that I'm aware of.
I think he's hosted the Grove.
Maybe.
All right, Jesus, dude, John Ajota deserves to be on a watch list of some sort.
Yeah.
He is leaning into this. I've seen this word a lot, and I guess it's a new term in this generation, but aura.
Yeah, I've been seeing aura a lot recently.
John's got an aura about him, and he just leans into this, I don't care, I'm going to slice you up. And I haven't seen this since Mike Lawrence, where it's like, he's not just going below the surface. He doesn't want you to like him afterwards. He wants you to respect how bad he hurts you.
Yeah.
Like dude, Ajota's scary.
Yeah.
I that was a masterclass in he's not like, you know, Mike Tyson is a brawler. He'll kind of like, you know, he'll beat you up and put you in a corner and then just keep beating you. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that in like roast battle where he's just, no, I'm bullying you. And now you know I'm bullying you. Now say something about it. Like doing long-winded, big risk jokes in the first round.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's unbelievable.
And then just, this is your character. This is who you are. Oh, look what you just did. Look at that whiff because this is who you are. And just like setting you, I mean, like I could see why Malia was off her game because I've heard this from you guys of there's jokes about yourself you won't know until you get in there. And I think she got hit with some things that nobody's ever said to her before. And she just couldn't keep her composure. As slowly and as poised as she was speaking, I think there were some things in there that John hit her below the surface that she didn't know about herself or didn't want people to know in public.
It's clear they don't like each other. Let's start there. When he said Malia and I don't get along, I don't know if you heard there was a woman in the crowd who went, clearly. It went against everything. If I was like talking to first time battlers, I'm doing my first battle, what advice do you have? Number one is like, before you even get to the joke writing, it's about the nature of the jokes. And we only roast the ones we love. And you have to be likable up there and all this other shit. John, I've never seen somebody as successfully as he does it go up there and be like, I don't give a fuck about any of that. I don't care if you think we're friends. I don't care if you think I'm having fun up here. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to have fun with my friend and put on a show. I am here to destroy someone. And so many of the jokes were not even jokes. They were just factual statements, or at least his perception of facts regarding, you know, Malia's comedic style. I mean, and to throw those in at a moment where she is like struggling. Like I've always said that the most effective weapon in roast battle history is a rebuttal to somebody bombing. If you have one of those ready to go in the chamber for, oh, this person bombs, here's a rebuttal about that. It's like a pick six in football. You completely change everything. He didn't have rebuttals ready. He was just like that like, whoa, a sarcastic white lady kind of thing. Like,
dude.
To wait until she had a joke not really work and then to flip it on her like that and to call it out and to just like, I know we've made countless Kendrick Drake references recently over this thing, but it's kind of like how Drake came out and he was like, oh, you have small shoes. You got small feet. And then Kendrick was like, I hate you and I think you should die. And everybody was like, whoa, I didn't know you could play that card.
That is, I mean, Pat, you just broke it down perfectly because that's what it felt like. It was, Malia came in like, that was like a fun little roast battle. He's like, no. I don't like anything about you and I think you're actually bad for this.
Yeah.
It was, dude, that game, it felt like Meet the Grams.
Yeah, big time. The same energy where you're like, I got to take a shower after watching that.
Because it was great. Like there was bars all over the place.
Sure,
I was like, Jesus, but it was like, I thought we were having fun. Jesus, John, I know you hated her like that.
Yeah, it was definitely uncomfortable, man.
But such a showcase for him in that style. Like that's not supposed to work. It's very anti-consent and agreeing to boundaries, right? Like we've been pushing lately. But that's just shut up. I don't care about this bitch. You know what I mean? That was rubbing her face in it. Like when she didn't land something, I'm just like, oh, like you know, in LA, we kind of do a fun little song and dance about it.
Yeah.
No. He's like, oh, that didn't work, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not really good at this, are you? You should reconsider this.
You're actively holding back women in comedy. You have a voice for change and you are not utilizing it properly. You should be ashamed of yourself and your performance. So let's talk about the thing in the first round with the 2-minute long joke that he made an audience member read.
You know what it felt like, Pat?
What's that?
Remember the Rachel Nichols, Maria Taylor thing?
Refresh my memory.
So it was during the bubble.
Okay.
And it was a hot mic, and Rachel Nichols was saying she was upset with Maria Taylor.
Okay, yeah.
The black woman who was taking and she was doing everything. NFL Live, NBA Today, all of it, basically. And then Rachel Nichols used to do all of it, right? And she was like, well, at least I have NBA, like don't take that away from me, kind of a thing, right? It was a whole thing. And then that was on, basically, and that kind of got played out as like, oh, Rachel Nichols might be a racist or yada, 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 whatever. And that felt like Rachel Nichols, who was Malia Simon in this, and that felt like Maria Taylor's conscience talking to Rachel Nichols.
Yeah.
That's what that felt like. I'm just like, no. Let's talk about this. And that's what that felt like. I've never seen anything like that. That was, because it was so good. Like I talked about the Dave Sheehan of it all, of like, oh, you can't really sexualize Malia because she has this little girl appeal. Mm-hmm. He did all that. Sexualized her. I mean, like in a bad way. Derek Chauvin did. I mean, like had his knee on her neck, and she couldn't breathe at times. And it was like he didn't care. That was a masterclass in how not to do roast battle, but how to be great at it.
Yeah, he did everything wrong and killed it, which speaks to how good the jokes were. I mean, his jokes in the third round, I felt like were all haymakers, like top to bottom. The fucking cornrows. You had me at. She goes on vacation. She comes back with cornrows. Let's talk about the first round though. That big swing. Because here's the thing. I've now seen John and Joda battle a bunch in New York. I've seen him on 2 big stages. He was in the World Championships. He was at the Netflix Festival. And I kind of wish that he would take more swings like that on those stages. He's played it pretty conservatively when he gets to like the big dance. But we've seen him in New York do a couple of things like that. What is your thought on, should he be trying to implement more of that on the big stage, or is he doing the right thing and just being like, I'm just showing up with my best jokes?
He's doing the right thing by doing it in a smaller space. Those don't play that big outside, right? You can only really play the hits at a festival, in bigger places, because people's attention spans are much smaller because there's so much going on, right? There's so many personalities, so much energy happening. I think there's less energy when it's just like, and you're familiar. It's easy to pull those things off. I feel like if you're uncomfortable and the confidence doesn't show up, that's going to look nervous and it's going to look reachy. I think the fact that he's so comfortable on that stage, in that room, right, with those judges, that host, that was the most comfortable I've probably seen John and Joda, and the most dialed in I've ever seen John and Joda.
Yeah.
So I think it works better when he's at home as opposed to big swings on big stages.
Could he make a second half run for New York MVP? If New York makes the playoffs, could he be back on that world championship stage? I would say this was a very, very good start to the second half for him.
That was an MVP. Like we talk about Heisman performance.
Yes.
That's gonna stick in my mind as you just took out my preseason favorite, right?
Yeah.
Like my dark horse. Like that takes out Malia. The rest of the I can't ever not see her do that now.
Right.
Because that was nuts. I've seen Andrew Manning do that to people, but not like John Ajota.
Yeah.
People are gonna like start copying that style. That's how good that's scary.
I hope
good.
they don't.
I hope so too.
I hope they don't. Public service announcement. Let him be him. We don't need John Ajota copycats across the league. I'm already seeing it, and to a much lesser degree because it's just a joke structure. But like the Shalaka Kurupt, opening, I've already seen that imitated poorly across the league to the point where 9 times out of 10, and I watch a lot of these battles, it gets no reaction. Like, you tried to steal her special move. You can't do it quite like her. Maybe just leave that one there. But definitely to something this distinctive as far as like John's style and those big swings, leave that to him unless you could come up with a twist on it that's different.
Yeah, he's Evil Knievel. Like, he's a professional. Please
don't try this at home. Yeah. We don't need people handing out papers to the audience to read. But I'm glad he's in the league, and I'm glad that he's giving us performances like these. And I'm sorry to Malia, who I think was just ready for a more traditional thing and kind of got punched in the mouth a little bit.
Buzzsaw.
Yeah.
Again, you said Shalaka. Now, John, dude, the Indians, they create these new moves like in roast battle outside of Mike Lawrence, who kind of like creates this whole style unto himself that people have copied now. But man, those two, you're right. They have now implemented a new style that is hard to copy.
Yeah.
They're kind of one-on-one in that thing.
Yeah, which is great. That's the mark of a true legend in this thing, is creating your own lane in a sport with a lot of copycats. Well, let's get to the number one battle this week, and frankly, I don't know how they're going to follow that. This is the first time ever we have back-to-back title matches in the number 1 and 2 spot. The New York title match comes in at number 2. The LA title match comes in at number 1. Full transparency, I put New York at number 1 this week. It's a tough thing because you're comparing apples and oranges here. New York was 3 rounds. There were a lot of weird misses in it. There were a lot of big hits in it. LA is way more standard. It's 5 jokes. It's 1 round. Everything kind of connects. There's no real lulls. I don't know if the highs are as high. I'll let everybody at home judge it. Sound off in the comments. What do you think? LA versus New York. Did the ranking committee get it right this week? Let us know below. But without further ado, it's the LA title match. Very different. Champion Nate Welch defending against the challenger Julian Fernandez. Here it is.
Get him, Josh. Battle!
Guys, keep it going for my opponent, Faghorn Leghorn. Nate's a bouncer who's taken a fist to the face for the job and 1 in the ass just for fun.
Y'all make some noise for my opponent, Edward Scissors themselves.
Harder than it looks.
Julian's a them from LA, born and dazed. They started identifying as non-binary so they could beat up the chicks that told them no.
Honestly, that's a good one coming from Limp, who ate all the biscuits. Nate looks like he eats pussy out of a trough.
That was a good one, Victoria's Secret.
I'll never tell.
Julian's Mexican and works at a theme park, which makes sense because they look like a carny that don't get no asada.
That's good. That's good. Nate reminds me of the Daredevil villain Kingpin. He's big, he's bald, and he would definitely beat up a blind person.
I don't give a fuck what y'all is. That haircut is fucking gay.
What y'all is.
Hey, I don't want anyone judging Nate. I just want to say he's not homophobic, just flame retarded.
I don't know what you just said.
That's what happens when you watch Reading Rainbow on mute.
You hear? That's how you learn to read, stupid. Julian used to work at a sex shop.
True.
But they got fired for taste testing all the dildos.
Quality control, baby. Speaking of testing, testing and eating, give it up for Elmer Fuddruckers. Nate's favorite donut is white powered. Seriously, Nate, you look like you have to take a breath before you take a breath.
Y'all look like a bouncer at a Gentle Thems club. Julian.
Now I got it. It's funny.
Yeah, it's a
That's
thinker.
funny.
Yeah, it's a thinker. Julian's a non-binary Mexican. I guess that's why they look like a Hispanic hermaphrodite.
That's really good.
All right. Nate refuses to make women wet because it gives him Katrina flashbacks. In fact, Nate only goes down on women because the smell of crawfish reminds him of home.
That ain't the only reason.
God damn.
Looking at y'all gives me flashback of Hurricane Katrina because I feel like I'm looking at another big bitches. So in conclusion, Alex Jones was right. They turned the frogs gay. Julian looked like a gay frog that's about to shoot up a school of fish.
They have it coming.
Number one this week, Nate Welch, Julian Fernandez. I don't know how you compare New York and LA, two wildly different things. What would you think?
Palate cleanser.
Yeah.
I thought that was great, actually.
Yeah.
I can see why that would get number one after watching Meet the Grahams.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. Nate, man, is dialed in. He's really in his bag lately. That was, if we're talking John and Joe, the last battle of like being in his lane and in the zone, that was Nate doing the same exact thing. All the puns, you got quintessential Nate.
Yeah.
Right? And Julian just letting everything roll off of him. He wanted the shot. He really came to play. Damn it. They really came to play. Nate, y'all, love it. I'm going to start doing that because that's much easier than they, them. Y'all, I'm going to start calling Julian y'all.
Yeah. Nate practiced the pronouns maybe more than the jokes. Every time I talked to Nate, he was like, yeah, I'm going to fuck them up. I'm going to fuck them bitches up. He never got the pronouns wrong. Not one time.
He's a genius.
He really is. He's a savant with this shit, man.
Gentle Dims Club.
It's so stupid. I love the carne asada is ridiculous. I love the Hispanic hermaphrodite. Really, really good.
Oh, just playing. Just the way he can bend language. You know, it's like Theo Von bends language in a way. Like just that region, they know how to bend the language. And shout out Josh Martin, a Cajun, Raging Cajun, who started this whole thing. But
is that what Josh's accent is supposed to be?
It's supposed to be Cajun, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's also mixed with nerd.
Yeah, it's mixed with a few things I don't want to talk about right now, but I had no idea. Just completely different from the last one. Great chemistry on stage. They're obviously friends. It wasn't super contentious. It was competitive because it's a title match, but like they're having fun up there and everything. The exact opposite of what we got before. I stand by. I think New York ahead of LA, but I could see it going either way. Honestly, it was
Palate
just
cleanser. Honestly, watching that after that, I see why that could get number one. But I think honestly, if we watched that before watching New York,
the order matters a lot. That's why even when I send out the email to the committee, I use like a random number generator to pick the order that I send them in. I know that sounds insane, but I'm like, I can't send them in like a specific order because the way you watch them makes a difference.
Totally.
You know, watching them back to back is sometimes it becomes clear. Like I thought Bay Area and Chicago, I watched them like 6 or 7 apart and you forget the first one that you saw. But when you watch them back to back like that, it's like, oh, I think Bay was, better. either way, 2 title matches atop the leaderboard and a lot of familiar faces. We're going to break that down in 1 second. Let's look at the standings real quick. Not a lot of movement here in the West. Denver and Austin continue their back and forth vying for 3rd place. The Bay Area remains in 2nd. LA moves 2 points within 2 points of New York for the number 1 overall seed. In the East, it's all New York and Chicago. Cleveland and Atlanta have been completely blown off the map by those 2 cities. Not a whole lot changing there. Same story on the international side. If we go to that, Scotland picks up a point, Barcelona picks up 3, but the West is kind of where it's been. The East, man, somebody's got to step up and win that. It's going to be either London with their knockout tournament or Tokyo with their roast fest. That's my prediction. One of those guys. Manchester should schedule the best card they can possibly come up with for sometime in August or September. Try to get those points on the board. I think it's about to get really competitive with London stepping up. But as of now, that I feel like we haven't seen any movement in that division in 4 or 5 weeks at this point.
Isn't Scotland has the Edinburgh Festival, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then they have probably some Manchester and some Londoners going there.
They do have an event coming up also in Manchester with a couple of Scottish. I know Jack Traynor, one of the front runners for MVP. He's going down to Manchester. So you're right. I completely blanked on that. That's Manchester's big event coming up with a few of the Scottish folks. And then Edinburgh, I think, is going to feature people from all over the world.
Right.
I know they're trying to get as many RBL cities as possible represented, and everybody's out there at the same time. So there's going to be some movement on the international front coming up, I feel like, but it has been an American-dominated sport for the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, I really love it. That West is crazy.
It's insane.
That's everybody's 40 points.
Yeah,
that's not fair.
Yeah, Austin's in last, and they would be first in the international East, and they'd be hot on Scotland's heels for first in the international West.
Who gets the points for the All-Star game?
If the battles make it, they split the points. So if it's worth 7, each city gets 3.5.
Okay. Wow, that's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be good.
That's crazy. That's this Sunday.
Yeah. That is this Sunday. If you haven't joined the Patreon already, join the Patreon, because the All-Star Game is going to be seen on the Patreon first before it's seen on the YouTube. You want to get subscribed to that right now. Any tier, from the undercard to the main event to the Hall of Flame, you'll all have access to the All-Star Game as soon as it's edited and we're ready to throw it up there. Doing a lot of cool stuff on the Patreon also. So if you want to get involved in that, hop on, check it out. You can join for free. Kind of take a look around at some of the stuff. And then if you want to pull the trigger, become a paid member, there's all sorts of cool benefits in there. We just dropped another full-length episode today that won't be on YouTube for another month or so. So hop on there, check that out. I want to end the show here by talking about, we said there were a lot of familiar faces in this week's episode. Of the top 10 now in RBL points for the season, 6 of them were featured on this episode. We saw a lot of movement. Malia Simon moves up to a tie for 3rd with 22 points. Julian Fernandez and Dakota Fry are now tied for 5th. You got Nate Welch there tied for 7th. Phil Corridor in 9th. And then James Regal is one of the people in 10th. These conversations are really interesting as we get closer to the end of the season, because these could be some people that we're looking at potentially for the World Championships. LA looks like a World Championship city, or a playoff city. Nate Welch could be the guy. The argument previously was John Luna had so many more points than him. You see now Nate is gaining on John. And then in New York, now Malia Simon leads the way in points. But like you said, could you vote for her over John Ajota after seeing them go head-to-head?
I couldn't. But this is a different thing. It's like you can be a scoring champion and still not make the playoffs.
Facts.
Right? Max Sorich, he may not even make the playoffs because his city just isn't getting enough points, but he might be the scoring champion and our MVP.
Yeah.
And you're not going to see him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Obviously the Dakota Fry of it all, he doesn't really win a lot, but he gets a lot of points because he's so formidable, he's so good. Nate might be the best battler in Los Angeles of the 3 that are in there right now. Just because he's really dialed in and he's the champ. He's beat both those guys.
And I will say Nate has his next 3 battles booked at this point. He's got some big opportunities coming up to get some big names over, some big wins over some big names and kind of move his way up the list. So Really interesting week. Lot to unpack there. I'm sure everybody watching has opinions on what we got right, what we got wrong, the ranking committee. Leave them below. Let us know. Tell us what you thought of this week, specifically that New York battle. I'd be really curious to get everybody's thoughts. All-Star game coming up this weekend at the Mothership. July 21st. We have 2 shows there, 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock. The 8 o'clock one is going to be the biggest one we've ever done there. The 2024 All-Star Game. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, if you don't have your tickets already, get your tickets. I think there's some still available. There's 2 shows that night. 5 p.m. is Austin versus Austin, showcasing the best Austin battlers. And then we go to the All-Star Game, 8 p.m. Great, huge judges. We're excited about it. We might have a piece of Trump's ear.
Yeah, that's going to be the MVP trophy for the All-Star Game. Just a little sliver of Donald Trump's ear. Don't ask how we got it. Doesn't matter. Anything else to add?
Let's roast.